Let's talk right now about, well, how we fund the BBC. And I know an awful lot of you not helpful about funding the BBC, not keen on it with the licence fee, and often you not paying it. Well, it's a bit of an issue for the BBC. Now there is some talk within government of changing the BBC licence fee to affect rather more people, including people who've never come close to watching the BBC or are watching anything on live stream. They've got Netflix, they've got Disney Plus, but they'll still be expected to pay the licence fee under plans being considered by ministers. Let's talk about this with Campaign Director at Defund the BBC. That's Rebecca Ryan. Very good morning to you, Rebecca.
Morning, Julia.
Thank you for joining us. Now, can you explain exactly what it is that we believe the government is currently looking at?
Well, they're considering rolling it out so that at the moment, if you watch any live broadcast TV, that's a TV that is broadcast from anywhere in the world. So even if you're watching a TV station from, from the Middle East, if you're watching it in the UK, you have to have a TV license. And the only exception to that is the BBC iPlayer, which is an on-demand platform that has BBC content. So what they're looking at is extending that to therefore being any on-demand content, that you would also need a TV license for that, which is an absolute huge...
Yeah, I mean, basically, the argument has been, look, you're not paying the BBC licence fee just with BBC. People say, well, I don't watch the BBC, I don't listen to BBC radio, I don't even look at the website. And they say, well, no, if you have a television and you watch any live TV on any channel, you have to pay for the BBC. And then it became any live streaming of anything on your iPad or on your computer or your phone. And now it's kind of, yeah, whatever you do, we're going to get you somehow. Do you think this is basically being looked at because they know they are losing an awful lot of money? There are a huge number of people now who, whether legally or not legally, don't pay their licence fee anymore.
Absolutely. And the thing is for them is it's really difficult to police as well at the moment because, as you said, people used to think that if you had a TV that you had to have a TV licence. But actually for quite some time, it's been since we've had on-demand and smart TV, you don't need to have a licence just for having a TV. And so it's completely unpoliceable for them. If they turn up at your house and you say, I don't watch any live broadcast TV, I only watch on-demand, they can't do it.
And no, you can't come in.
Yes, exactly. They can't unless they can see through your window or whatever and catch you. But this means this, new proposal that they're considering would mean that essentially anything that you're watching on TV, you would need a TV license.
I mean, basically, this is a tax. My thing has always been that this is a tax. I mean, don't call it a licence fee. It is a tax, and most people are forced to pay it, whether you like it or not. And I don't get a say about my taxes that I pay for, various government policies I disapprove of, like all the mad net zero stuff, but I have to pay it anyway. These things aren't technically hypothecated. But the key thing about this is an increasingly unpopular tax. This is a tax that people really resent paying because they're forced to pay for a broadcaster who is no longer a sort of a public national broadcaster with actually doing public service. This is a broadcaster that is basically, I mean, so much of its coverage, its coverage of Brexit was shocking. Its coverage of immigration is dishonest. Its coverage of benefits its coverage of Israel and Gaza is being dishonest so many times again and again. Its coverage on climate change is basically, may as well get Greta Thunberg to run the whole lot. It's unwatchable an awful lot of the time in terms of its news coverage, which is its basic remit to inform. And I think a lot of people feel very resentful that they're having to pay for something, not only that they don't watch, but they believe is actually, frankly, a lot of the time, misinforming.
Absolutely, and it's dangerous, as you said, the kind of reporting about Brexit where they started saying that essentially half the country was racist. How divisive was that? How dangerous was that? And that's the thing with the BBC, and that's why over these last sort of 5-10 years, people have been sort of 500,000 a year of households are sort of saying, actually, I don't want to watch this. If it means I can't watch any ITV or Sky Sport, fine, I'll just watch Netflix, I'll just watch Disney Plus or whatever. And now they're going, oh, hang on a minute, we'll just have to bring that into the remit as well. But what it essentially amounts to is a tax on, it's equivalent of taxing people for watching DVDs. This is content they've already bought. It's not live broadcast. It's not what the BBC TV licence was supposed to be.
Exactly. Do you think it's going to happen? I mean, I think fundamentally they're going to take it into as being just sort of a tax that just goes on, part of our income tax. It's just going to be taken away because it's so unpopular. Do you think that's where it's going to end up?
Well, I think the BBC are very squeamish about doing that because then it's a sort of state-funded broadcaster, and they
which it is.
Yeah, and they want to have this kind of illusion of it being sort of independent, and so they're looking for other ways to try and to do this. And as I said, they've talked previously about putting the tax on broadband, because that's where it actually sits. The more unlimited broadband and faster broadband we get, the more people will move away from live broadcast TV. Yeah. So, you know, who knows where they're going to go.
They'll get us whichever way you look at it. Rebecca Ryan from Defund the BBC, thank you for that. Candice Holdsworth joining me the whole this morning. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they have to compete. They have to win audiences. I mean, that's how everyone else has to do it.
That's a mad idea.
I know. Revolutionary.
I know.
But it's amazing to me how many people I know now who pretty much just watch YouTube. They just go through YouTube.
Well, I've had them now. I don't do a breakfast show anymore, and I always go through. I listen to Mike, and I listen to watch a bit of Sky, watch a bit of BBC. I try and get a little bit of everything to feel like what's everyone covering. What's Radio 4. I mean, my husband always knows when I'm listening because I'm just shouting all morning. It's like wakes me up. It's just so much of it's nonsense. And you know what? I don't care about the lesser spotted vole or whatever it is they spend 15 minutes on every morning. But there we are. Thank you very much indeed for that.